Do you know who I am backfires on arrogant boss when an $800,000 project goes off the rail because he fired an irreplaceable employee? Firstly, this didn't happen to me. I was with the person when they received a phone call about this issue. Then he explained it all to me. He's not on Reddit. So I'm sharing it. It's priceless. All names changed to protect personal and company identities, listed buildings, important of the story in the UK. There is a system for preserving ancient and important buildings. If a building has historical importance, it is known as a listed building in the rules about how it's developed, maintained by and improved, are very strict. I need to be vague about the work involved. Otherwise, it's too easy to identify the parties involved. My friend, David is skilled in a very niche area of construction. He repairs and renovates buildings using a very old construction method that hasn't been common for several centuries. All his work is on conservation projects, and listed buildings work was required on a Grade 1 listed property. The overall building work was being done by the main contractor. ACC Limited. One part of the work is very specialized. The contractor's managers didn't know anyone who did it, so the architect gave them a list of qualified people. The contractors chose my friend because he had the earliest availability 5 days into the work. The owner of ACC Limited, the main contractor company, arrived on site. He was throwing his weight around and being a noisy gobshite, David's words. David was just doing his job and ignored him. Noisy gobshite told one of his carpenters to get him a coffee. The carpenter disappeared. Noisy gobshite continued wandering and gobbing off about delays cost him a fortune. 15 minutes after the carpenter had disappeared, the noisy gobshite asked my friend a question. Noisy gobshite. Where's that fucking chippy with my coffee should be equals carpenter? David don't know. Noisy gobshite. Go and find out, David. I'm only here for this job, pointing to the walls. I don't work for ACC Limited. Noisy gobshite. I don't give a fuck whether you're an employee or a subcontractor. You still work for me. Now go and find my fucking coffee, David. Firstly, I don't appreciate being talked to like that, and only my contract with you is to do these walls. Nothing more. I'm definitely not a gopher. Noisy gobshite. Oh, you don't appreciate being talked to like that. Do you? Which subcontractor do you work for, David? None? I'm self-employed. It's just me, noisy gobshite, a fucking day laborer, and you've got the nerve to talk to like that. Do you know who I am, David? Yep. Noisy gobshite. Well, you're fucking fired. Get off the fucking site now, David. Okay, put it in. Writing. Noisy gobshite, fuck off. Just get off the fucking site. David pulled his phone out and started recording. David. Okay, I'll go. I just want proof. You told me to go. Noisy. Gobshite grabbed David's hand holding the phone and screamed into the phone. Noisy gobshite, get off the site, you fucking idiot. You're fired. If you're still here, I am 10 fucking minutes. I'll have you fucking thrown out, David. Cool, no problem. He picked up all his kid and walked away. As he was leaving, the contractor site manager asked him ironically with a coffee for the boss and with a smile, set site manager, you leaving early? Dave, bloody part-timers, joking. David, no, your boss just fired me. Our contract is ended. Sorry, mate. Site manager. No, let me sort this out. Wait. Please wait. David left. The site manager was losing his shit because he knew something that noisy gobshite didn't. Only 7 people in the UK are qualified to do the work. They all have a waiting list, and David had been the only one available by the time he was home. He had 12 missed calls. That was Thursday, 2 working days missed so far. He said he'll go back, but only if he gets paid for the extra days and has a genuine apology in person from the boss. I met my friend when he was getting a call from the site manager saying, the boss apologizes, but he's out of the country, so can't apologize. F2F. David also told me phone the other specialists to warn them, but they'd all been found on Friday begging them to do the job. Nobody took the work. They're all booked solid. David also phoned the architect to warn him situations like this. Some unscrupulous contractors try to botch the job and fake the work. David is going to stick to his guns, pay for all missed days, plus F2F, apology. He's sure he'll get it. I've said I'll pay anything to watch the F2F apology. Update. One site manager phoned to say he was told by noisy gobshite to threaten legal action. If David doesn't finish the job, site manager was very embarrassed and apologetic. David reminded him, he didn't leave and has proof that he was fired, site manager. Phone again to say noisy gobshite will apologize F2F on Friday. Can David start tomorrow? David said no, following the threat of legal action. The conditions are different. One F2F apology before work restarts to added pay for ways to days. 3 payment of full contract value up front. Before work starts for all must happen by Thursday. That's the last day he can start and still expect to finish before his next booking. If he also works the weekends, he has just enough time. I asked him why he isn't charging a huge extra amount for the guy being such a wanker. He said, it doesn't look good. If you take advantage of companies when they're under time pressure, not the done thing. It seems that one of my friends is an 18th century gentleman. I misunderstood David when he said only 7 others do this work. He meant 7 other businesses apart from their small businesses. So he says it's probably about 20 people who can do it, still a small number, but not as comically small as 7. Sorry for misleading you all about the number update to unfortunately, it seems there will be no appeal. Apology. David has discovered that the site manager was blamed for not making noisy gobshite aware of the situation beforehand and was fired.